Hi there. I'm Thomas from Real Guitar Success. I recently did a live question and answer session, and one of the first questions I answered was, what are the most common keys for guitar players? Now, one of the main reasons this is important, this is a piece of the puzzle to determining what's the best chords to learn first and what's the best path to learning those chords so you can play songs and sound good. So with that, I'm going to show you my answers to that question. If you have any more questions, feel free to leave them in the comments below the video. I know when I first started, I tried to open up a book and just learn one chord at a time, starting with the ones that looked easiest to me. And, that didn't do me any good, really. It's kind of like trying to learn a language like Russian by memorizing the alphabet. It just doesn't work. But what I found over time is that students need to learn, myself included, not only the chord, but how to use the chord in some kind of context. You need to be able to finger the chord quickly and be able to play it in time with other chords, going to other chords, preferably in a small group or in a key, as I'm going to use that word over and over. What I've narrowed this down to is what are the most common keys for guitar. And again, that's the little groups of chords that you're more likely to use when you're starting out playing guitar and would give you kind of an edge, both in terms of practicing something that you're going to use a lot, as well as keeping people from getting overwhelmed with just trying to learn all the chords all at once. I made a little graphic that will show you the 5 most common keys, and that thing on the right, I'll explain in a minute. So on the left, I've written the 5 most used keys in the beginning on playing guitar. The keys are C, G, D, A, and E. Not necessarily in that order, but that's the best order to memorize it, and I'll talk more about that in a minute. These keys are useful for beginners for one reason, is because they're used a lot. When you're learning songs, these are often the songs are written in these keys, if it's a guitar song. Sometimes songs are written at piano and translate to guitar, and it doesn't necessarily follow. But a guitar song is going to generally be written, 80% are in these keys. The other reason, and maybe the most important for beginners, is these keys generally will allow you to play simple songs with 3 chords without having to use bar chords from the very beginning. So starting with the key of C, the 3 chords are C, F, and G. Now, F is normally a bar chord, and for that reason, I often don't start students with that key. I start the second one, the key of G, which is G, C, and D. Then, going from there, using D, A, E, and somewhere along the lines, learning the key of C, either at the end or somewhere in the middle, once you've learned the F bar chord. It's not a chord most students want to start with for good reason. Now, C is an important chord. C is an important key. That's why I do include it in there, and you're going to want to learn that. And it is sort of the first good reason to learn bar chords because of the F chord. On the right, I have a graph called the Circle of Fifths. Now, I'd like you to hear that name, but don't worry about that. The most important thing is it shows you a way to remember the 5 most common keys. So if we start with the key of C right there at the top, and you're going around, you just count up 5. You see that little fifth there. So from C to G is 5. Start with C, D, E, F, G. It's the 5th. Now start over from G and count up 5. G, A, B, C, and D. You keep doing this. D, E, F, G, A. Then we start with A, B, C, D, E. So I would start with the key of G. Learn those 3 chords, so G, C, and D. That's kind of the full G, C, and D. In the keys, it is common, by the way, I'm going to say this particular way that may not make sense yet, but let me explain it. Be patient. The 5 chord is often turned into a 7th chord. What I'm talking about when I say the 5 chord, if you look at the scale and count up, starting from the beginning, like G, G, A, B, C, D, D is the 5 chord. You can just think of it, if you have the scale counting up numbers, A would be 2, B would be 3, C would be 4, D would be 5. So I'm going to go back now. I said the 5 chord can often be turned to a 7th chord. So you could play a D7. I wouldn't worry about that, but I want you to know that if you see that in a song. It's particularly helpful when you get to the key of E, because B is a hard chord. But if you turn it into a B7, it's much easier. it's an open chord as opposed to a bar chord. So that makes all 5 of these keys playable without a bar chord, except maybe the F. There are cheat ways to play F that are, semi. It doesn't quite sound like a full bar F, but it sounds okay if bar chords are particularly hard. Now, one more thing I want to mention, if you wanted to up this a little bit, you might want to add some minor chords. And I wouldn't do that until you've learned at least a few of the keys and tried them with some songs. So in the key of G, the first minor chord would be the one after D, after the 5. I'll call it the 6th chord. Again, you just count it from G. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. E minor. The 6th chord is always going to be minor. But now it opens up a whole nother set of songs. The progression G, E minor, the 6th chord, C, and D is such a common progression. So certainly with oldies like, oh, my love, my darling, I've hungered for your love. So on. But it's used, I know we just looked the other day, it's used by an Ed Sheeran song. He was showing me an Ed Sheeran song, or pointed out that the chords are the exact same progression as these old rock and roll songs. 1, 6, 4, 5 if we're using that numbering system, but you can just say it's a G, E minor, C, and D. So 3 chords. Can you play songs with 3 chords? Heck yeah. Heck of songs. So many songs are written in just 3 chords. That could keep you busy for the rest of your life, really. And a variety of types of songs as well, certainly in country and rock and roll, but even in popular music. So here's one that comes to my mind. I'll do it in the key of G. Leaving on a jet plane. Well, I'm leaving on a jet plane at sea. Don't know when I'll be back again. Oh, baby, I hate to go. Now, that's just the chorus, but the whole song you can play with those 3 chords. And there are many, many, many songs like that. Learn the 3 chords in the key, practice changing from one to the other. Try and do it so you have to do it in time. In other words, either with a metronome or at least tap your foot. Because if you can't do it in time, jumping to a song is going to be really hard. But once you can do it even slowly in time, you can try a simple song like that. And just as a way of practicing the chord progression. I don't necessarily recommend learning just song as a way to play guitar. But it is a good addition to help you practicing and learning, and makes it more fun on the way to playing more and more chords, more complex progressions, and learning more techniques on the guitar, different strums. Thank you for joining me. I hope you found that helpful. And if you'd like to join in on my question and answer sessions, it's on the first Thursday of each month. And you can sign up so I can notify you. I'll put a link in the description down there. Take care. I'll see you again, hopefully soon. Bye for now.